All right. Well, first I want to make sure that you guys saw the video, the 12-minute video with instructions. Did you guys see it? Yes? No?
Yeah, I personally saw it, so it was accessible.
Okay. Yes, because I've been having some issues sharing information with the online cohort. So, okay. So who wants? This is a Q&A session. Who wants to go first? I will make that person a co-host so he or she can share whatever he's been working on, and we can go over the doubts or concerns. Who wants to go first? Or if you just have a specific question, you can just share it, and I'll provide the best answer that I can.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the video. I don't know why, like, it's not loading for me. I was trying to look for a separate link.
No, I posted on I shared directly on Canvas. Then I uploaded a link to YouTube, so you have a couple of options to see it. I'm gonna look it up on YouTube. I'm gonna share it right here on the chat box.
Okay, because I see the video file there. It loads, like it keeps going in a circle for me. So yeah, if you could share the link, that would be really good. Thank you.
Right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a quick overview of what I shared. So probably from there you can start asking some questions. Let me share my screen. Please let me know once you guys can see it.
I can see it.
Okay. So again, the main objective was to understand the interdependencies within touch points and the impact each touch point will have on the overall performance of the strategy in terms of cost per acquisition, cost per lead, ROI, etc., etc. And the instructions were simple. I adjusted the expectations for the assignment to make it a little bit simpler. And what I'm expecting is that you pick two touch points at each stage of the journey, and from there you start benchmarking the and forecasting the performance at each stage. So at the end you can get an estimate cost per action or cost per transaction. And the since many of the journeys, even though they were valid and very well thought through journeys, you were leveraging, some of you were leveraging a lot of touch points like word of mouth, friends recommendations, offline actions. So that would make it kind of complex to benchmark and to forecast. So that's why I provide an alternative to use a different set of touch points. You can actually use the set of touch points that I'm using in the example, as long as you look for performance benchmarks and use those numbers to do your calculations. So this is the framework I provided. This template should be available in the assignment. To touch points, where you send in those touch points, and how much money are you allocating, what the budget you're allocating for each of the touch points, and how are you going to convert that budget into traffic, and then into some kind of more valuable type of interactions. The same for the mid funnel, and then how are you going to turn those upper funnel and mid funnel interactions into transactions. And what you are supposed to do is to find first to define a budget for the green boxes on the left, and then find performance benchmarks on the Excel spreadsheet I share for cost per clicks, click-through rate, cost per thousand, conversion rates, and from there do the calculations. And at the end, what I wanted to you guys to come up with was the final cost per transaction or cost per acquisition. Um, I also provided these two tables with the most relevant channels for a generic audience at the upper funnel, how this audience discover new products and brands, and also I provided reference for the most relevant channels for the active research, the consideration part of the journey. So you can pick from there a couple of alternatives if you cannot bring it from your journey because of what I explained before of not being benchmarkable enough, right? Because the type of touchpoint that you guys picked. So, and this is how the Excel spreadsheet looks like, where you can find the most suitable category for your business case, for your project. And you're probably not going to find an exact match, but you can use, I don't know, your experience or your common sense to pick the one that you think is closer to your actual industry or your actual business. And this is what I did. At the upper funnel, I am using paid search and social media ads, specifically on Facebook and Instagram, allocating $50,000 for paid search. According to my table, the average cost per click is $1.15. So I will get 44,000 clicks. Allocating 25,000 for Facebook and Instagram. These are the performance benchmark, cost per thousand for $0.5. I would get 5.6 million impressions, and the average click-through for Facebook and Instagram is 0.75%. So I would get 42,000 clicks. So I'll be sending 86,000 clicks to my blog article about 5 reasons to go to Machu Picchu. If you guys remember, I've been using the example of the millennial adventurer, and my objective was to send her to sell a ticket to take her from US to Machu Picchu, right? So sending the traffic to the blog article with the 5 reasons to go to Machu Picchu, and the bounce rate for the average bounce rate for blog post, the number of sessions I would get, what percentage of those sessions I would convert into newsletter subscribers, and the same thing at the mid funnel. Would you be using YouTube ad? The budget I would allocate there. The performance, same for remarketing ads. So I'm trying to, through remarketing, I'm trying to connect the interactions I had at the upper funnel with the mid funnel, and the number of clicks. And I'm also nurturing the newsletter subscribers through email. And I'm getting what I can see over there is I'm only getting out of all those efforts at the upper funnel that I wanted to convert into a mailing list. I'm only getting 34 clicks, so I know that I would need to look into better ways of connecting the upper funnel to the mid funnel. So one way was through remarketing, and probably a different way would be to increasing the click through we get from the blog article. A call to action we place in the blog article, having people click through directly to the campaign landing page. And at the end, I would be sending for almost 5,000 clicks to the promotional landing page, and I took a rate of 11%, which is the average for the industry. So I would have 506 products with tickets with booked, not booked yet, itineraries on the booking engine, and then I would have the average random cut rate of 60%. So I would get a total of 202 transactions at the end. So my final cost per acquisition, after dividing the total budget spent by the total transactions, I would get a cost per acquisition of $507.43. So this is the type of exercise that I wanted you guys to do for the last assignment. So probably now you have some questions, right?
I was just going to ask really quickly. You said 2 touch points per stage, right?
Yes.
Okay, if I was to make some edits to my customer journey based on your feedback, let's say I move 2 or maybe 3 of the touch points that I had in awareness into consideration. Does that mean that like does it necessarily have to be 2 touch points per stage? Can it be like 1 touch point from um, awareness, 1 from consideration, and then 2 from purchase?
Yeah, I think that you'll be fine. Yes, as long as it makes sense with the journey that you map, you're gonna be fine. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So please make sure that you include on the last submission the journey, right? So I can go back and
Right,
check.
right. Yeah, I included my customer persona and the customer journey assignment, so I'll do the same for this.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Professor, I had a question on the consideration stage, especially concerning the total clicks. If you look at the total clicks that you gain from the YouTube ads and remarketing and add the total, how did you come up with 4,600 clicks? Shouldn't it be more?
Yeah, that's a typo. That's a very, very good point. That is definitely a typo. That should have been 29K plus 44.5K plus the 34 clicks. That should have been 67.5 thousand clicks.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you very much for bringing that up.
No problem.
I'm gonna fix it right now. So for the rest of you that did not connect, so you know that this was a typo from my end. All right. Any other questions?
Professor, the budget, is that something you're getting off of like the research you did?
That's the hardest part to benchmark, right? So I would just ask you to pick a number that makes sense to the size of business that you are using for your project, right? So if it's a small startup, don't use hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Use a smaller budget. If it's an established business, you can use a more aggressive budget. But you're not going to be graded on your criteria for selecting the amount of money you're gonna be allocating.
Okay, and the clicks and impressions and all that, we're getting that from the chart you showed us on the screen earlier?
From the spreadsheet, you're getting the benchmark for the cost per thousand and the click through. And out of those variables, you should be able to calculate the number of impressions and the total clicks.
Okay.
Any other? So just make sure that what I'm gonna be looking into here is that the calculations are right, that the benchmarks make sense, and that you are able to do the calculations all the way from the top of the funnel all the way to the cost per acquisition. That's what I'm going to be looking into.
The touch points don't have to be the moment of truth, right?
No, not necessarily, because that's what I said at the beginning. Because for some of you, even though the touch points were very well planned and mapped, some of the moment of truth are offline touch points, or I don't know, kind of somebody wearing a t-shirt, or I don't know, somebody making a comment, right? So that's very hard to estimate the performance for, right? So you can do two things. You can pick touch points from your actual journey, or you can tweak it a little bit and pick touch points from the table that I showed earlier, the one that has the graph on the left for the discovery channels, and the one on the right for the active research or consideration channels. And you can redo your thing starting from there.
Okay.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
I just jumped in, so I missed the beginning part of the session this morning, but I think you might have just jumped into where I have my question. In in the previous part of this, I think I might have done it correctly, trying to complete the 15 touch points. And I feel like I might have exaggerated the amount of touch points needed. And
No.
normally in real life, it might not have taken that many touch points. I'm kind of guessing right now, but that's what I'm thinking. And so I wondered in this part of the assignment, if we needed to pick a touch point in the beginning of that journey that we mapped out, or can we pick any touch point and then do this part, this outline, or this course that we have, that we see here on screen.
Yeah, who's this, Mario, right?
Yeah.
So I think your journey map was interesting, a little bit hard to follow, but I think that how you divided consideration into two different possible flows was very interesting. So what I would do is
It was a little hard for me to chart a linear map, because I almost see it as a linear map that has decision trees along the way, and depending on the decision that the person makes, it branches into a different direction. So I was kind of concerned about that.
That's a good point. Journeys are never linear, no? That we know that from real life, right? But you need to try to plan it in a linear way, even though that people can drop out the journey and get into a different journey, right? A different flow. But you have the purpose of the assignment was to plan one journey, one ideal journey from awareness to purchase. But I think what you did was very, very interesting. So nothing wrong about that. So what I would do here is, for instance, at the upper funnel, you have the people subscribing to your updates, right? To the new events and stuff. So have the upper funnel focus on that, leveraging what you mentioned. I remember you using some Instagram and some stuff, some social media stuff, and some search. Try to get the upper funnel to get that type of subscribers, and then start pushing to that audience the specific events. So that's what I would do at the mid funnel. So go ahead.
Sorry. So then my question is, I'm looking at the one turned in now, and I realized that I broke down for awareness the first 5 steps, and in the awareness, in those first 5 steps, it has happened that people don't need many other contacts because they're really interested in that event, which is what the whole journey is about, promoting a live event and getting people to buy a ticket. There's been times when people see 1 or 2 announcements and they go straight to the ticket page and they buy. So that kind of breaks that linear flow. And that's what I was worried about for the assignment and for expressing this. But for this portion here, I think I understand what you're trying to get us to do is to walk through a flow from beginning to end, considering a budget and seeing what the cost per at the end, what the cost per acquisition is. So my question is, do I just grab one of the touch points and say, okay, this touch point, I'm going to walk it from this touch point, ignoring the previous journey that we mapped out, and say, okay, if we take this touch point and we were to invest X amount of dollars, what would happen? Where would the customer go? And at the end, what does it cost us? Is that what you want us to do on this part, or do you want us to go from the journey we had mapped out?
You can do either way. This one was an alternative to simplify the forecast, but you can go either way. You can try to match this framework with some of the touch points that you used, or you can go back to your journey and pick one channel and funnel that traffic from that touch point all the way to the transaction to see what you get. Either way, you're going to be fine.
Oh, okay. So it's not that we have to, I was concerned about having to map out this that we see on screen for the journey we had outlined. And in mine, I felt like, even though I drew it linear for the purpose of the exercise, there's so many times where it branches off. If a person decides yes or no, it kind of branches off into another tree of decisions that goes to the end result. So I was concerned about that.
No, you know, you can do that. What were you thinking of doing? You can do that. You can
Okay.
do the streamlined approach. So,
Okay, so pick a touch point like you were explaining here, and then assess a budget and go estimating the process all the way through.
yes,
Okay, even if it's different from the previous journey we submitted.
yes.
Okay.
So what I want to make sure is that you learn that there are benchmarks for every single interaction, and that you can start from a budget and estimate what you can expect from that particular stream of actions, right? Because that's the thing that not many people is doing. So trying to
Yeah.
commit to a performance. So you see, once you see this, you know that in order for this strategy to work, your, for instance, your click-through on Facebook and Instagram needs to be around 0.75%, because otherwise the strategy is breaking, right? So you need, or to improve the creative, to improve the click-through rate, or compensate by getting a lower cost per thousand, or reducing the bounce rate. So you know exactly where the strategy is breaking and what you need to do to compensate for that touch point not performing as expected. So that's
Okay.
the idea of this exercise.
Okay, so it's basically kind of see where the weak points are and tweak and to know, okay, you got to tweak it here. But I guess I have a question of these benchmarks, like what we're seeing on screen in the brown blocks. Those were kind of benchmarks of what you already know of the industry in that particular industry, in that
Yes.
particular touch point.
Yes.
I would think that I could find somewhere this information, but where can we look for stuff like this?
I on my table on the spreadsheet that I shared, I have the benchmark for the industry that I've been involved with, and some other public benchmark that I found. If you have like, you can Google for specifics, and you probably find some. And if you're still missing some of them, you can text me, and if I have the tool and I have the information, I will share it with you.
Okay, so it's not a particular set of websites that you recommend. Hey, check over here, check over there.
No, because depending on the industry, there are websites that have more information for that particular industry.
Okay.
So you're gonna
some of
have
these,
to Google.
Yeah, some of these seem like, I mean, that there wouldn't be any. Like, for example, an example you have there, the blog article, finding what bounce rates are, unless you own the blog, there's really no way of finding what bounce rates are in other blog articles, right?
Well, on my spreadsheet, there are some benchmarks for bounce rate on blog articles.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you can use my my reference, or you can research for a different one. But
right, but I mean,
you can
what
use
I mean
mine,
is, for now the exam, you're giving us some benchmarks where obviously it's super helpful, but taking this a step further, when we're out in the industry, that touch point, for example, the blog, unless we own the blog, there really isn't a way of finding like an industry benchmark, is there?
Well, you can use a similar web, and you can see the average bounce rate for whatever specific website you input in the search bar. So, for instance, if you have identified a couple of competitors' blog, you can use similar web to see their bounce rate, and you can even see their bounce rate by device. You can see the bounce rate for desktop. You can see the bounce rate.
Okay.
You can do that if you want. Let's say that you wanted to know the bounce rate for Ticketmaster. You can go there and see it.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you. Yeah, because I was wondering about that. It's like, okay, I get, you're giving us these, but if we're working on something that maybe that's not in your spreadsheet, for example, where would we find it? But I see what you're saying.
All right. You can always text me, and if I have the piece of information they're missing, I will share it with you.
Thank you.
Professor, good morning.
Good morning.
How do you find the number of sessions in the blog article? you put 21.5K. How do you find that data?
By applying the bounce rate to the total clicks I got from my paid media. For
Okay.
instance, I got 44,000 clicks from my paid search campaign. I got 42,000 clicks from my social media campaigns. That's a total of 86,000 clicks. And when you discount the bounce rate, so only 25% of the clicks would end up in a session. So that's how I got to 21.5 thousand sessions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions? No? Well, I think you guys have my phone numbers. You can WhatsApp me if you want me to send, if you want to send me a screenshot of any wall you hit or any doubt. You have a couple of days before submitting the assignment. So for what I've seen on the first three, I think you've been getting the objective of this group of assignments pretty well. So I am expecting a very great results from the last one as well. So just text me or WhatsApp me if you need help with any wall you hit. So I think this is going to be it, right? Unless any of you have any other question. No, you guys are good.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
All right. So good luck, and just text me if you need anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Professor.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Professor Hernandez. Thank you.
Take care.
Oh, Professor, I think there's some other students who couldn't make it to the Zoom. They're asking if you're going to be sending it out, the recording.
Yes, I'm sharing the recording right now. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube because I don't know what happened when I share recordings on
Okay.
Zoom. But yes, I'm gonna be sharing it in I don't know, 20 minutes.
Okay, and Professor, in the previous modules, I know you had a PowerPoint that you were sharing in class for the other sections of this project, and for some reason there were always the presentations weren't like available. We weren't able to open them or download them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna reshare them. So don't worry.
Okay. Will you reshare them in Canvas or how?
I was planning on sharing them through an announcement, right? Uploading the file there and then pushing it out.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's just to know where to look.
Yes, probably there. Yes.
Okay. So you'll put well, pretty much up to now, I don't think we've been able to download any of your presentations so far.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share them all on Canva through an announcement.
On the announcement and the recording too, so I can tell
Yes.
this other person. Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
Thank you. Take care.
Professor, last question. Are we supposed to include the screenshots for this last assignment or not?
No, just the calculations.
Just the calculation.
Yes, just in the main slide with the calculations.
So do you need the details of the calculation or just the?
No. I'm going to grab my calculator. I'm gonna check them out, and if they are fine, you're gonna be fine.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye bye. Thank you.
Likewise.